Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. I'm Zainabi Saji, and on behalf of TCS Octara, I welcome all the participants in today's webinar, which is the Masterminds Mind. Before I start the webinar, I just want to share the flow of the webinar with you. I'll be sharing some of the housekeeping rules, and then we'll have a video message by our CEO, Jamil Janjua. Then there will be a presentation by our speaker for 45 minutes. Towards the end, we'll take the Q&A session, which will be of 15 minutes. Then there will be a thank you note by our CEO, Jamil Janjua JJ. And in the end, I'll share some of the upcoming programs and offerings at Octara. So some of the housekeeping rules, all the participants, I would request them to keep themselves on the listen only mode. They can type their questions in the chat box and the speaker will entertain them towards the end of the session. The session is being recorded and it's being live streaming on Octara Facebook page. So if any of your participants who have not able to join via Zoom, they can join us on our Facebook page, which is Team Octara. We'll click a group picture. My colleague Sarim will be clicking a group picture. So we'll announce that. And at that time, I would request you all to keep your videos on. And you'll be receiving a digital certificate on your full participation. If you have any difficulty during the session, you can just type it in the chat panel. So me and my two colleagues, Sarim Atik and Aisha Tariq, they are the co-hosts and they will entertain you, or you can also email to my colleague Sarim Atik. Now I'm sharing a video by our CEO. It's a 2-minute video. Please have a look.
Hi, hello. My name is Jamil Janjua, and I'm the CEO of TCS Octara. Octara is a company that belongs to the TCS group of family, and it has established an enviable reputation as being one of the leading executive training service providers in Pakistan. A large part of our success is attributed to our chairman, Mr. Khalid Wan, whose personal commitment to encourage the development of the people at both TCS and at the Pakistan level. It has been very, very stimulating and very, very inspiring for us. We take great pride in delivering high quality learning experiences which are based on extensive research of training needs, after which programs are created, working with the best possible trainer, the content developed to address the needs, then marketed as a series of leadership acceleration programs, and finally delivered, ensuring all logistics is taken care of to ensure a high quality learning experience. Our team motto at Octara is to help you succeed. Thank you.
Thank you for watching the video. Now I would like your time to announce the speaker of the day, which is Muneeba Ali. Muneeba Ali is a mindset coach, trainer, and assessor, and she's from Melbourne. She's a certified rapid transformational practitioner. She's been doing training and coaching experience since 8 years in HR and personal development in countries like USA, UK, Japan, Egypt, UAE, and Pakistan. She has trained delegates of Westpac Banking, OG Fiber, Department of Health and Human Services, Commonwealth Bank, Jacobs in Australia, and NESPAC and ENY Pakistan. Over to you, Muneeba.
Thank you so much, Zainab, for the kind introduction. I just want to welcome everyone in this webinar, and I'm just hoping simply that all of us get a chance to learn from each other. When you guys ask questions, I learn, and when I deliver the training, you guys learn. So basically, as Zainab said, I've been a trainer and assessor for a couple of years now. I have massive experience of coaching people. I'm just going to start the webinar, and I'm just going to share the PowerPoint without any delays, so that all of us get, the full opportunity to learn. So as you guys can see from here, everyone can see the screen?
No. Stop sharing it and then you can start sharing.
Can you see it now?
Yeah. Go to the slideshow.
Yeah. Can you see the slideshow? Zainab, can you see?
No.
I'm going to share one more time. Apologies. Sometimes this happens. If you guys are comfortable this way, I can continue this way. What do you say, Zainab?
You can continue with this way.
Okay. So as you can see, the name of this webinar is the Masterminds Mind. What is different in this webinar? Why do I decided to have this webinar? I have experience in training subjects like strategic management, change management. There is a lot of plethora of knowledge out there. Everything is out there. But why do I decided to have this webinar, and why did I choose this topic? So there are three reasons that I chose this topic. The first reason is that time is right. What do I mean by time is right? Is that it is about time that we look at the subjects, look at the things that nobody else is talking about, which is our habits, which are the small struggles of a layperson in everyday life. All of us know we have habits that we struggle with. We have mental blocks we struggle with. There are lots of things that we don't want to talk about. So this webinar is going to be, as you have seen in the introduction and when we were promoting the webinar, as you have seen, this webinar is going to be an excellent opportunity for you to start this journey. I'm not going to, I'm not going to claim that this webinar is going to give you the whole picture, but this webinar is going to be a stepping stone in your personal and professional life. You'll be comfortable talking about things you don't talk about. You'll be forced to think about things, think about the reasons why you have not so useful behaviors, why you have the habits that are not serving you, why you are practicing things that are actually stopping you from going to the next level of your life. So time is right means that this is the time all of us just think about taking the next step and talk about things we usually don't talk about. The second thing is, the second reason, as you can see from the slide, is the statistics. Now, what I'm going to talk about is not a woo-woo science. It's not something that pseudoscience sort of things. These are the things that are backed by the research. You will see, if you Google about the topics that I'm going to cover, you'll see plethora of knowledge. There are so many research papers. There are so many things, so many researchers actually working on this topic, and they are proving that. Yep. Zainab, can you mute the participant? Thank you. So the thing is that statistic is actually supporting whatever I'm going to teach. So that is the most authentic thing a trainer can say, that all of the things that I'm going to say are backed by research. So if you have been involved in research, if you've seen, any research papers or books, you would know that this is the most credible thing a trainer can say, that everything that I'm going to cover today is actually proven by experiments and researches, and lots of people have put their time and energy and money to prove these things that they actually work. The third reason that I have designed this training is my personal reason. What is my personal reason? Honestly speaking, I am a child. I was a child who had a very complicated childhood. I think in Pakistan, I was in Pakistan, so all of us had, one way or the other experienced people who are telling you that you can't do this, you can't do that. Oh no, you're not good enough. Oh no, you're not intelligent enough. You're not. I'm not saying that everybody had that experience, but at any stage of your life, if you think back and if you reflect about it, there were people, they could be your parents, they could be your friends, they could be your, siblings, anybody, even in, they could be your neighbors. People always tell you, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that. So I was a kind of person who experienced this a lot, and I had lots of personal struggles. So my third reason, and this is the most important reason in my life, is that the struggles that I had, I don't want anybody else to have. But the good news is that improvement is possible. The good news is you can always, no matter where you are in your life, it doesn't matter where you are right now, you can always take the next step. So these are the reasons why I thought about, designing this training, which is talking about habits and memories and experiences and childhood and all those things nobody usually talks about. So when I say nobody talks about, it doesn't mean that it's generalizable. Please understand, to take it with a pinch of salt, whatever I'm saying. It is not necessary that everybody in the audience, like 100% people, experience that. Your experience can be different, but I'm sure that when I'm going to go ahead and ask you for a few questions, you'll be able to relate to one or two or maybe all of the points. So I am going to move to the points, to the questions, to the statements that I want to ask you guys. My request to you guys is that please, in the chat box, just type yes or no. This way, I would know how many people are struggling with this particular thing, how many people are struggling with something else. So I'm going to move to the next slide. I want to make sure that everybody can see it clearly. Zainab, can you see it clearly? I don't want any confusion here.
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, so my first statement is, you just have to tell me in the chat box, can you relate to the number 1 or not? I delay my tasks for no reason till I reach the deadline. I'll repeat it. I delay my tasks for no reason till I reach the deadline. Is it something that you experience or not? Are you somebody who, maybe if it is like paying the electricity bill and you wait for the last minute and 11th hour and then pay the bill? If it is a project, you wait till the last minute and then you do it. Or if it is an assignment you have to submit, you wait till the 11th hour and then you submit it. Why do we do that? Is it something that you can relate to? The second statement is, I think people are writing something in the chat. So I'm going to open it. Okay. I really like when people are participating. I really appreciate your participation. It takes courage to actually just stop and think about whatever you're feeling and then sharing with somebody else. So I appreciate each and every one of you who's actually participating. The second thing is, the second statement is, tell me if you can relate to it. I sometimes feel difficulty in focusing on a task. So are you somebody who, like, whenever like this happens to me all the time, I'll just give the example of praying. Whenever you're praying, you say Allahu Akbar and then you go, and when you are finished, then you remember, oh, I was praying. So that is lack of focus, lack of concentration. Similarly, if you're reading a book, it happens to me all the time when I'm reading a book. At the end of the page, I realize, oh, I was reading something and I just don't comprehend. I just read it because I don't have focus and concentration. Is this something you guys struggle with? Please write in the chat box. I think I'm getting some messages. I'm going to read each and every comment and each and every question that you guys are asking at the end of the session. Don't worry if I don't respond in between. The third statement is, I am waiting for motivation to show up so that I can totally change my life. Are you somebody who makes lots and lots of plans at night and say, okay, today was like fine, but tomorrow I'm going to change my life. Tomorrow is going to be a new day. I'm going to start a new diet. Maybe I'm going to start working out. Okay, I have to be organized. I'm going to make a to-do list and stuff like that. But you don't feel motivation. Are you somebody who can relate to the statement number 3? Then comes statement number 4. I make plans, but it is very difficult to follow them. For example, you make really enthusiastically some plans with your friends, but at the end of the day, when you are about to go, you feel like canceling and you don't feel like doing that. Is it something that you can relate to? 5th, I have big goals, but I feel I'm not 100% ready right now. Are you somebody who thinks maybe I should do this certificate, maybe I should do that certification, maybe I should do this degree or this like course or something like that? And then you feel that until and unless I do that, I can't achieve my big goals. So to achieve a big goal, I need to do this certification or anything. I'm not 100% ready. Maybe time is not right. Oh, people don't support me. I don't have money. I don't have this and this resources, anything. Are you somebody who can actually relate to these, the number five, the statement number five? Then comes statement number six. It is very important that I learn to manage work stress now. It's getting serious. So, are you somebody who can relate to number six, that you are stressed, or you feel that you can't just manage a long to do list? Is it something that you are struggling with or you can relate to? As I said, it's not necessary that you relate to each and every one of the statement, but even if you can relate to even one of the statements that I've just described, believe me, this webinar is going to be an excellent learning experience, introductory learning experience for you. Number seven, I think sometimes I'm not enough, maybe not good enough, confident enough, intelligent enough, slim enough, fat enough, beautiful enough, whatever you want to say. Do you relate to this? Can you relate to number seven? Number eight, I have internal struggles that I often do not want to share with or show to anyone, no matter where you are in your life. I believe all of us are struggling in one way or the other. It should not be, it doesn't have to be like a very serious struggle, but all of us might have like smaller struggles. For example, it's very difficult for me to remember my to-do list. It's very difficult for me to remember dates. It could be I don't know, a condition or something, but it is a very real struggle for me. I mix up things, and that is why I have to be very, very organized. So is this something, and you have any internal struggle that you have and you don't want to show others, or you feel that people will think, oh, he or she is so silly, or he or she is so incompetent, etc. Statement number nine, I have stage fright, which means you fear public speaking and feel uncomfortable speaking in public or meetings. You have brilliant ideas, but you don't feel confident enough. You feel embarrassed, or you feel that my idea is not good enough. If I speak, people will think he or she is so silly. Even if I ask questions, it would make me feel like a fool, etc. So you have stage fright. Number 10, every night I make plans to improve my productivity, but in the morning I don't stick to those plans. So as I said, it could be losing few kgs, it could be achieving the next level of, maybe you want a promotion in your life, maybe you want promotion in your career, you want to start a business, anything, it could be anything. So can you relate to any of these statements? If you could relate to any of these statements, believe me, this webinar is going to help you. And I keep repeating because I don't want to make false promises. This is going to be an excellent introduction to why all of these things happen to us. So when this is the first step that all of us need to take, if we have a problem, we need to realize it's not a problem, it's something we struggle with. So I don't want to name it as a problem or something that is, I don't want to attach a stigma to it. So if this is what is happening to you, that is good news for you, because you are here in the webinar. So stick to the end. Okay, so when we were promoting this webinar and everything, you saw that these are the things we were focusing on. Why we cannot get rid of poor habits, or why our mind works on autopilot, why we delay our important tasks. It's important to improve performance. Is it possible to improve performance beyond a limit? Is knowing half the battle won? So I am going to start now. Why does this thing happen to us? Any one of you, have you guys seen this picture ever on internet? It's not a secret picture. It's not something I've come up with. This is the reason why all of these things happen to us. Anyone? I'll open the chat for a second and I want to see if anyone has seen this picture. So people are saying, yes, you have seen this picture. That is very good. As I said, okay, some people are saying they haven't. So it's all right. I am going to explain this picture to you guys anyways. So coming to the next picture. So as you guys can see over here, it's an iceberg, but it is tip of the iceberg, which is an idiom too. You might have heard about it. So it's tip of the iceberg. And then it is just, I guess, the 30% is visible, but there is a huge part of it, massive, that is not visible. So that is the same thing happening to us in our mind. I'll try to make it as simple for your understanding. And for that, I am going to show this picture. Okay, so what is that? Like, this is your conscious mind. What is a conscious mind? Guys, if you have any problem understanding the language that I'm using, if you have any problem, you can ask in the chat box, and Zainab kindly would let me know if I need to explain anything more. Conscious mind is, in simple ways, all the statements that I told you were your conscious mind statements. When we say, I'm going there, or I'm going to do this, I have this plan, I have this task, or I'm going to achieve big things in life, all those things that you say, you make plans, everything is your conscious mind. When you decide to eat French fries, when you decide to read a book, all those things are the doings of your conscious mind. So your conscious mind is what makes willpower. I am surprised how long I thought, like for the longest time, I thought that willpower is everything. Same is the case with motivation. When we think, oh, motivation should, like, if we have motivation, everything should be fine. No, it's not. Motivation is garbage. Motivation doesn't help anyone. So conscious mind is only the 10% where you have your logical thinking, where you think, oh, I should eat right, I should do this, I should. All the shoulds are conscious mind. Okay, so subconscious mind is where you have your emotions, your habits, your values, your beliefs, protective reactions. When we touch the fire, all of a sudden we have this reflex action and we are just, like that. What is that? That is subconscious mind. You don't think, okay, now I am going to touch the fire and then I am going to do this. No. Why? Because that is your subconscious mind. What else is subconscious mind? So I'll give you a simple example. Your subconscious mind is, for example, how many of you drive a car? Write to me in the chat box and say yes if you do. So if you drive a car, you know when you are going from office to work or work to office, or if you're going to go for groceries, maybe to a typical shop where you always go, you don't have to think, okay, now I am going to take the right turn and then switch on the, like press the accelerator or press the brake if somebody comes. So you don't plan that because you are on autopilot, because that is fed in you. So when you start driving, start practicing, then you are thinking about these things. But once you're done, that comes to your subconscious mind and it becomes autopilot, on autopilot. So that is how our mind is all the time. Not all the time, I would say 90%, like researchers even say 97% of the times, but that is like debatable. But a huge part of our everyday life, even researchers are saying, neurologists are saying that 97% of our thoughts are repetitive. Whatever you thought yesterday, you're still thinking the same thing. You think the same things, repeat the same things. So that is your subconscious mind. So if I go back here and
Muneeba, I just want to intervene. Shayan is asking about the point regarding motivation. He's not clear about that, and he's asking how is motivational useless. So you can start.
So Zainab, please note this question for Q&A and I'll explain. This is my favorite topic, so I'm going to explain this. Good question. Okay, so subconscious mind is 90%, which means all the things that happen to us in the childhood. And what do I mean by childhood? By childhood, I mean from the day you are born and sometimes before that to the time you are 12, 13 years old. That forms the The whole path to your life, whole your habits, your values, all those things are decided in those years. Those are formative years. That's why we call them formative years. And what do they what can happen if somebody had a bad childhood? And now by bad childhood, I don't mean that you were beaten and you were really abused, god forbid, something like that. It could be the slightest thing, and I'll explain what could be an example of that. But the point to understand over here is this is your conscious mind and this is your subconscious mind. And if you want to achieve the things you want to achieve in life, you have to change this part. So no matter what you decide here, how many plans, how many YouTube videos you watch, whatever you do, until and unless you bring change here, you won't change. And that is my promise to you. But if you change this, believe me, you will go places, you will achieve things that are unimaginable. After today's session, I encourage you guys to go and research about it and research a lot and see how it can change your life. And there is no doubt about it that it is going to change your life. Okay, now we come to a very interesting thing, which is J.I. Joe. J.I. Joe. This was a cartoon. I don't know how many. I am old, so I don't know how many of you have seen this. This used to come in 80s or somewhere. You don't have, if even if you haven't watched it, you don't have to worry about it. But the gist of the matter is that J.I. Joe was like a Superman sort of thing, like you know how superheroes are, and a typical hero sort of. Why do I give the example of somebody who you might not have seen? Is because there is a term which is called G.I. Joe fallacy and everything. You don't have to go into the detail. I don't want to make it a boring science lesson. What happened was this hero used to fight bad people, and there was a slogan he used to say. He used to say after the fight, knowing is half the battle. So, lots of heroes and everybody, they always have a tagline. J.I. Joe's tagline was knowing is half the battle. Now, I want to ask all of you, do you agree to this? Knowing is half the battle. Do you think that actually when we know something, um, that is half the battle, and it's like done and dusted and you're halfway there? Do you agree to this? Do you think this happens? Now I'm going to show you few optical illusions. These are the illusions I think every one of you have seen on Facebook. No surprise here. I'm not trying to surprise you. I'm trying to prove a point, which I will prove after you tell me, what do you think figure 1 is longer? The red line in figure 1 is longer, or red line in figure 2 is longer? What do you think? Write to me in the chat box. Zainab, what are most of the people saying? Is it figure 1 that is longer, or is it figure 2 that is longer?
You're saying same, both are equal. Figure
Absolutely.
1 is larger.
Absolutely. So those of you who said it is the same, I appreciate that you guys are saying it is the same, because it is the same. But let's speak honestly, it doesn't look the same. Because it's an optical illusion. We know it is the same, but it does not look the same. The second figure, there is this red line, and then there is this red line. What do you think? Let's call this one A, and let's call this one B. So what do you think? A is longer or B is longer? Write in the chat box and tell me if A is longer or B is longer. And then I'm going to open the chat for a quick minute and see. B looks longer. Most of the people are saying B looks longer. Yes, thank you for participating. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the people who actually are interested in learning, and this is very rewarding experience for me. So thank you very much. Okay, so yes, the lines are the same. Both the lines are the same. Now I am telling you both the lines are the same. If you have a ruler, even if you have a piece of paper, you can just put it here and you can measure. You'll see the lines are the same, but they don't look the same. Now the third optical illusion. Third one is this red dot and this red dot. Let's call this one A and this one B. So do you think A is bigger or B is bigger? So I'm going to open the chat for a moment. Both are same. Yes, most of the people are saying both are the same. Now, if you see this optical illusion is not to compare these two with each other, but to their respective blue dots. So what happens is when the dot is smaller, this one looks bigger, but when the blue dot is bigger, the red one looks smaller. So that is an optical illusion. It is a very difficult name for this. I don't know how to pronounce. No problem at all. It's okay. So the next one, I actually don't like this one. This is on Facebook all the time, and they ask you to count. For example, they'll say there are 52 animals in this picture or 17 animals, and you'll keep counting, but you won't be able to find. I don't want you all to count it. Just an example of an optical illusion where you have animals, you've given the numbers, but you can't find it. So this is an optical illusion. Now, this one is my favorite. If you have a piece of paper or something, I want you to measure. This is, let's call this one A and this one B. The smaller one is B and the bigger one is A. So I want you to measure. If you can, if you can't, it's perfectly fine. What do you think? A is bigger or B is bigger? In the chat box, I appreciate your responses. So let me know what you think. A is bigger or B is bigger. So let's see quickly what you say in the chat. Most of the people are saying A is bigger. Somebody said B is bigger. Okay, most of the people are saying A is bigger. Now is the moment of truth. Both of these are exactly the same. So if you measure them, you'll see they're exactly the same. Now I am telling you it is the same, but you can't see it. You cannot, your mind cannot accept that these two tables are of same length. Now, when I ask you, knowing is half the battle, is it? Do you agree that, like, do you still say that knowing is half the battle? It is not half the battle won. Why? Because of this. Your conscious mind can only do so much. It cannot do everything you ask it. Like, even if you dictate it, there are things over here that you cannot help. So that was the point, that until and unless we change this part, it is very, very difficult, almost impossible to change your bad habits or not so useful habits, to fight all of these mental blocks, performance blocks, money blocks, bad habits. Sorry for the mistake. So self-sabotaging behavior, where you are your own enemy, where whenever you're about to succeed, you just ruin everything. If you are in a good relationship, you ruin it. Because why? Of all the things, all the experiences, or any one of the experience you had in the childhood. So people, for example, with the people who are with performance blocks, they might have been told by one of their uncles, oh, you're a loser, and oh, you didn't do this good enough, and your maybe your grades are not good enough, stuff like that. So that cause these kind of experiences actually cause performance blocks, mental blocks, money blocks, and bad habits or self-sabotaging behaviors. Now, I am going to tell you 3 stories. These stories are actually, if you know, I do one-on-one coaching also. So people come to me with their problems, such as these kind of problems that I just said, money blocks, performance blocks, bad habits, stuff like that. They come to me and I coach them about it. The first story is, so Zainab, can you mute the participant? So the first story is about one of the clients. So remember this, please, when clients come to me, the information is highly confidential. I'm not allowed to say their names and stuff, but just for the sake of learning, I want to tell you guys their story. The second thing I want to tell you guys is that whenever I'm working for a client, when I'm working with them, I always work on subconscious level. I spend maybe 10 minutes on this, and all my trainings, even if we have chance to work again, you would see that all my trainings are focused here. I don't work here. This is the area where you're all the time working and nothing is working. So I work here. So when clients come here, I talk to them or I work on their subconscious. I have multiple tools in my trainings and everything. So I work on subconscious mind. So this story that I'm going to tell you, I'll tell you what happened. But first, my question is, what comes to your mind when you see this picture? This is something your mother or your father used to say a lot when you ask for money. Anybody can tell me what comes to your mind? This picture, what comes to your mind? My mother used to say a lot. So this sentence a lot. Muhammad Sohail says, growth, money doesn't grow on tree. Yes, Rimsha, excellent. My mother used to say, paise darakhton pe nahi lagte. So this is the story. Chahe, like whether it is west or east, mothers are the same. The things they say to your kids and their kids are the same. So this is something my mother used to say, that money doesn't grow on the trees. Now, this client came to me with a very, very strange problem. She said it was a woman. So she said that she was, believe me, she was one of the most inspiring people I've seen. She was working on executive level. She had everything sorted, but she had bad relationship with money. With bad relationship with money means either you hold on to it and you don't spend even on necessities, or the other way is like the totally opposite, which is you spend each and every penny you've got. So this pattern was going on with him for a very long time. She wanted to know why this is happening. Of course, she tried everything. Of course, she tried everything under the sun, but nothing helped. So this was her problem. I'm not going to tell you the solution. I'll tell you the other story, and then I'll tell you what was the reason for each of the story. The second one, the second story is very, very interesting. I don't know how many of you will be able to relate to it or not. This was male, and he came to me with another strange problem. The problem was that he got a job, he got a very good job, and the moment he started his job, he would stop on his way back to his house. He would stop at a bakery where he would buy desserts, and he would go home and eat desserts. This thing happened in the start, and he thought, okay, I am excited about my job. I'm excited about, things are going well in my life and I'm celebrating. But when this pattern became really, really consistent and it started affecting his health, he was concerned, of course. So he came to me for just to know why this is happening. So this was the second case. A person started a job, started going to a bakery, and then started, eating lots of sweet things, only desserts. He started eating lots of desserts, and this started when he started a job. Now you understand what I'm saying? I'm saying that this doesn't work when you're struggling here. Now, the third story is of another woman. She was pretty young. She came to me, she started driving, and she said that something very strange is happening to me. I have just started driving, and whenever I drive, I get these visions and I get these, sort of bad thoughts of hitting a child. I always feel when I'm reversing, there is a child. I don't know if you can relate to it. I pretty much experienced this a lot when I started driving when I was in Pakistan. So this started happening to her, and she couldn't understand why this is happening to me. Now, all of these three stories, I will go back to this picture and I'll tell you this is the problem. What was the problem of this person who had a really bad relationship with money? This person, when I don't want to use the words that will confuse you. So when I worked on her subconscious mind through the tools that I said I use in my trainings, so when I worked with her, I came to know that in her childhood, because we are working on behaviors from the childhood, experiences from the childhood, mainly on the memories and stuff like that. So when we came to know that her mother actually went through a huge trauma in her own childhood. And what happened was her mother's behavior was transferred to this lady who came to me for the session. So what happened was she was always good with money. The person, let's call her XY. So the Miss XY was always good with money and everything. But this behavior of not having a good relationship with money all of a sudden came from nowhere, and she couldn't understand. But when we worked on her memories, when we worked on our experiences that she had in her childhood, we came to know that this is the problem that happened, and her mother was the reason, because she in her own, like mother in her own childhood, had suffered a trauma relating to money, where she was almost homeless. The concept of homeless over here is like, it's very sad to see people on the street and everything. So this was her story, that her mother really had a very traumatic life where she experienced lots of trauma, and that was transferred to this girl's, Miss XY's, conscious mind. Similarly, the person who started eating cupcakes for no reason or desserts for no reason, he was a foster kid. So foster kid, just to cut the story short, he was really, really poor. And when they used to go to school in their childhood with other kids would buy lots of sweets and everything, but he didn't have money to buy the sweets. So he would every day while going to school, he would say, when I grow up and I have money, I'll eat this cake. You know how kids are. We always had those desire, when I grow up, I'll do this. When I grow up, I'll do this. So he used to say this each and every day while going to school, when I grow up, I am going to eat these cakes. So when he had money, he started showing this behavior. So that was the reason why he couldn't resist, he couldn't understand. But again, working on the memories and all those things helped us understand why he's having this problem. And same is the case over here. And this is very, very interesting. When I worked on her subconscious mind, we came to know that this woman was not even born. She was not even born when her mother had an accident. And that is how this subconsciously the trauma was transferred to the fetus. And that is like, you understand how deep these things are. And we think that, oh, I had a good childhood. Whenever somebody asks me, how was your childhood? My first response is always excellent. I was so loved. I was so this, I was so that. But when you go deeper, you understand your struggles. When you go deeper, you understand why we are unable to get rid of bad habits, even why we are unable to get rid of bad people in our life, why we are unable to perform better at work or excel at work or get the promotion we deserve or get the recognition or everything, because we are not doing enough because of so much that is going on here. So I encourage all of you to actually go deeper, think about the memories you had, think about the experiences you had. What is the problem? The good point to start is always, what is the main problem? Now, what is the action plan? In the 60 minutes session, it is very, very difficult to cover everything, but I don't want to just say nothing about the action plan and give no solution at all. But I just want to make it clear that whatever I'm going to tell you now works 100%. That is my guarantee to you. I have tried it thousands of times in my own life, and I have tried it and tested it on my clients. The result is 100%. And the good news is it's not the solution as whole. As I said, it's an introduction, but I do want to give you a tool. I just don't want to say lots of things and give no solution at all. So I am going to tell you one technique that you can apply. This is going to help you a lot. But remember, this is just a starting point. So no false hope, but this thing actually works. You might have heard about it. This is step 1, and I'm just going to do one step over here because we don't have enough time in the 60 minutes session. This is called visualization. So in simple words, visualization is like, in Urdu, it is khayali pulao sort of thing, and in English, building castles in the air or something like that. So what is visualization? Don't be confused and don't be scared by the difficult name over here. But if you Google about it, if you research about it, you'll get lots of tools and techniques. Visualization is for this. I want you all to imagine, close your eyes and imagine lemons, like really ripe, yellow, and really citrusy and fresh lemons. Close your eyes for a moment and think about lemons. All of you, please close your eyes and think about lemons. I'm not showing something that you're going to miss. Just think about lemons and just think about slicing those lemons. Now, Think about a very sharp knife, and the sharp knife is coming in contact with the ripe lemon skin, and now you are cutting it. When you cut it, it's so ripe that some of the juice is flowing on the cutting board or plate or any surface that you're cutting the lemon on. And now the juice is so ripe, you can see it, the lemon is so ripe. And then you bring the lemon closer to your mouth and you just want to squeeze the whole lemon in your mouth. I want you to imagine that you are squeezing the juice of a lemon. It's sour, it tastes like how lemons taste, and your mouth starts watering. Tell me how many of you actually imagined this and your mouth actually started watering. I do not believe that you actually imagined and your mouth didn't start, watering. So what happens is, let me open the chat quickly and see if this actually happened. Yes, absolutely. So what happens is that is called visualization. Now, in simple words, when you're imagining the lemon and then you imagine you are, it's in your mouth and everything. So what happens is that you actually start feeling the physical reaction of the image that you made in your mind. Physical reaction could be anything. That is why we say pretend that you're confident and you will feel confident. Pretend that you are intelligent, you will start, behaving like an intelligent person, because every single thought that we have creates a physical reaction. I repeat, every single thought that we think in our mind, be it positive, negative, whatever, has a physical reaction in your body. So that is visualization. Now, how is visualization going to help you in this particular case? Going back to the statements that I showed you, you guys know what the problem is, you guys know what is the issue, or you guys know what is the thing that you can improve in your life. So let's say that you want to improve your professional life, you want to work better, you want to be good at what you do, like better. I'm sure you are already doing a lot of good things in your life, personally and professionally, but let's think that you want to achieve something in your life, and just imagine, just keep that thing in your mind. Now the exercise that I'm going to tell you is visualization. Okay, going to the next slide. Visualization means you are supposed to imagine 5 years from now. 5 years from now, close your eyes and think about, what do you look like? Are you wearing a suit? Are you wearing casual clothes? Are you vacationing? What are you doing? Are you teaching? Are you, whatever your goal is? If your goal is to improve your professional life, maybe you are sitting in a very nice office. uh, Try to make it as real as possible. Try to put sounds in that imagination, put smell in that imagination, put pictures and colors, and try to make it very, very real. Just like we imagined the lemon, this is the exercise that is going to help you achieve the things that you want to achieve. What are you doing now? 5 years from now, what is a typical day for you? So I'll give you my example. My desire, that the things that I used to visualize for my future that I right now, alhamdulillah, have. What I used to imagine was, I'm getting up in the morning, I look at myself, I feel happy, I feel confident, I'm putting on my shoes, I wear my clothes, I'm going to the office, I'm dropping off my kids, my house looks beautiful and clean, and my car is awesome, and I am with my family, I am with my girls, my husband, a very ideal life, we are laughing. But the beauty is, and the important thing is, that you have to make it as real as possible. Just like going back to the example of lemon, you have to make it very, very real. Okay, so not just imagining, okay, I went there and like that. No, go into the details, the colors, the sounds, the everything, how real, however you can work on it. Okay, so when you are visualizing, I want you to make just 1 minute movie, not right now, but just 1 minute movie of what are you doing when you get up, what is your routine. Look at your bank statement and see, are you happy with that? And try to see what you want to see. When you're working in an office setting, are you happy with where you are, or you want a promotion, or you want even in the better, in the same position you're working right now, you want to perform better. Maybe you want an award or recognition or anything like that. So just try to make it as real as possible. And again, going back to the lemon example, you have to keep in mind that this should look real to you. Your body should believe whatever you are visualizing. So this is called visualizing, and this is one exercise. I can assure you this, like, I don't know how to say this. I can't emphasize this enough, but this is one exercise that I did, helped me achieve so much in terms of personal life, professional life. You talk it, any aspect of my life is improved because I made a complete movie of it. And how, like, you would want to ask, how does this simple exercise help us? Now, if you see this picture, I don't want to bore you with the science and everything, but when you imagine the things, whether good or bad, your brain starts forming new neurons. Neurons is another topic, but I would say just the links that are making you do things. So if you think good things, good neurons will be formed. And if you're thinking about bad things, or feel like really like a loser and I'm not good enough and I'm not, like, are you saying negative things to yourself? The negative neurons are going to be formed. So visualization is the exercise that is actually going to help you achieve what you want to achieve. Again, I want to repeat, this is just one exercise, but it is good enough. It is a good starting point. It is going to, I can say, if you do it, twice a day for 2 weeks, you will feel the difference. So this is one exercise. I gave it away, and I hope that all of you practice it and try to make your life better. This is really rewarding for me. Even if one person applies it and feels better in their life, I know what struggles look like. I have had, as I said, I have had my struggles, not even in childhood, but in later on in my life, as all of us have. So I understand sometimes your problems look really tiny to other people, but it is your struggle. You know how difficult it is, whether it is personal life or professional life. I understand and I empathize and I want to help. So that is one exercise I swear by, and I encourage all of you to try it. So this is the end of the presentation. I really want to take this opportunity to thank Octara team for giving me this amazing audience who actually participated, and I hope that learned something. I also want to tell you guys that you will get a digital certificate of attendance from Octara. I want to thank Zainab. Thank you so much, Zainab, for making this happen. And I also want to thank Aisha and Saram for these kind team, and JJ, of course. It's an inspiration to work with. Like, it's really, it's been a very good experience to work with Octara team. So thank you very much, everyone. And now we can take question and answers.
Okay. So let's go with that first questions from Cheyenne.
So Cheyenne asked why motivation is garbage and why it doesn't work. So going back to the picture of the iceberg that I showed you, motivation doesn't help you. If you will keep on waiting for motivation, you will keep on waiting. So if motivation doesn't work, what works? That is the question. What works if motivation doesn't work? And I will answer this in one word. What works is discipline. You need discipline. Whether you like it or you don't like it, if your subconscious work is sorted, discipline is the way to go. When you keep on repeating things, whether you like it or not, but when you keep on repeating things, they become your habits. So that is the only thing that is going to help. If you keep on waiting for motivation, one day it will be there, the other day it will disappear. So it doesn't work.
Okay, there's a question from Adil Saab is raising his hand. Adil Saab, you can unmute yourself and you can ask.
Gee, I'm so sorry. Muneeba ji, excellent presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, I can. Thank you very much, Adil Saab.
मेरा सिर्फ एक ऑब्जर्वेशन था, वो ये कि आपने ये 5 साल का जो टाइम फ्रेम दिया है टू विजुलाइज, I think we need to factor in again from our own belief systems point of view.
Yep.
That we may not be here 5 years from now. और कुछ पता नहीं कि हमारा कब बुलावा आ जाए कूच करने का. तो मेरे ख्याल में प्रेजेंट पे फोकस करना ज्यादा है, टू ट्राई एंड फिगर आउट हाउ मच आउट ऑफ बैलेंस आर आवर लाइव्स इन द प्रेजेंट मोमेंट. And I feel that if you can find a balance in your present, your future will unfurl, in a manner that may surprise you.
बिल्कुल, थैंक यू सो मच आदिल साहब, बहुत अच्छा आपने पॉइंट रेज किया. आई थिंक absolutely we have to factor in all the years that we have, but the point of visualization is, as I said, I think I mentioned it, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mentioned it in the presentation, that if you do it twice a day for 2 weeks, you will see the difference. So that is my point. You just have to imagine the best test you could be, and then things will start happening in even 2 weeks. And this I say with all the experience that I have had doing visualization myself and hundreds of my clients. So the point is not to wait for the 5 years for the change to happen. Change is going to happen right now when you decided to change. So you have already done something. If you've decided to change and take a step, take the next step, you've already done something. But thank you for the question. Thank you. Good point.
Thank you.
Okay. There's a question from Shamshad Begum. She's asking, could just you name few more techniques, please?
I could, but honestly, uske liye I need lots of time. Jaise I explained visualization. It would take lots of time, but there are visualization, then there is affirmative words that you can use, then there are some body postures exercises that you can do. But if you want, you can Google about those, but if I mention all those things and explain, it is going to take another 60 minutes. So I think agar abhi ke liye, for start, just focus on visualization, make yourself an expert in visualization, and inshallah it will help you.
Okay. Rehman Rashid is saying that I visualize it every day, set the goals to go high, but practically I fail to start working towards them.
Okay, so what happens with visualization is that again, ये आप ख्याली पुलाव से इसी तरह different है कि you need to start doing things that you need to do. But visualization क्या करती है कि visualization makes your body achieve those things. I am sure 100% if you visualize, like I said, with sounds, minds, feelings, emotions, it is not possible that it is not going to work. But the thing is, the catch is that you have to visualize it and you have to imagine it. Imagine is the easier word. You have to imagine it with emotions, with feelings. It's not a movie you're watching. You have to be in it. You have to feel it. So it is going to work if you actually try it again and get back to us.
Okay. Initially, Shayan asked a question about motivation, but he's saying that I don't agree with the point, as you said, that it's a reality, it's a debatable topic, because my background, my education and corporate experience is a bit contradictory to what you said.
It's perfectly fine. I agree to disagree. Your experience can be different than mine. I respect that. It's okay. It's perfectly fine.
Okay. Yeah, you can unmute yourself and ask. Shayan, you can unmute yourself and you can ask.
Yes. Hello. Assalamu alaikum, Ms. Muneeba.
Assalamu alaikum.
First of all, I would like to thank you. The session was outstanding. I really liked that. But I actually don't want to argue on the topic like motivation and something like that. Obviously, your views are totally different. But personally, I feel that motivation actually plays a vital role here, because in order to change yourself, if you need to bring changes in your life, even if you want to discover your subconscious mind or any hidden talent or even the solution to the problem, I think you need to have a sort of backing of motivation. Do you agree with that?
So I absolutely agree with that. Motivation is an excellent point to start with, but you cannot keep on going with motivation. That is my point.
Yeah. That is the point. Now it's quite clear, because I was quite confused about that when you said it's garbage. So I said, man,
motivation is garbage when it comes to achieving the goals. That is what I'm saying. So you would agree that as a human being, we have, moods and emotions and behaviors, and even in 24 hours, we are behaving differently in the morning. We are more productive, maybe in the morning. It's different for everyone. It is a good point to start. But then I think discipline is the way to go. You keep on doing things that you are supposed to do, whether you feel like or not. That is my point.
Yeah, actually, I simply rose a concern because I am myself as a corporate trainer. So focus on motivation and achieving the goals and so on. So that's the reason it's quite difficult for me to digest.
No, absolutely. Your point is right. You need something to start, and
myself.
Absolutely. I agree to that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think this is the last question from Rahman. It's, does workout play an important role in motivating someone? Like, we need to visualize things for our brain to stay positive. Similar does our body get the positive factor through workout or even a good walk? What do you say on that?
So what happens with workout is workout changes your physiology, and it releases the hormones you need to be happy or to feel accomplished and stuff like that. So I cannot say that, workouts doesn't matter or workouts don't help. So it could be a good point to start. Again, everybody is different. I am talking about, you have to keep in mind, everyone, that I am talking about the people who had bad experiences in their childhood, bad memories, people mistreating them, not to, a very traumatic experience, just something that just got stuck to your subconscious mind. So sometimes when we are struggling, it is because of those things that we don't even think about. All of us know, like, I'll give my example. I don't want to generalize it, but I'll give you my example that for the longest period of time, I used to think I cannot do maths. And whenever I would see numbers, I would just shiver, and I was just 2 + 2 is equal to a sort of feeling. And that was my reality, because I studied statistics. When I would see statistics, I would just go, I'll just freeze. Then I did MBA. In MBA, you are supposed to have finance and everything. I would see numbers. And now finance is different than maths, but it's numbers. So when I would see numbers, I would just freeze. Then I did my human resource development research, and there was statistics again. I would run, I used AMOS and SPSS, and I would see numbers and I would freeze. Why did that happen? I didn't know. So I started believing I'm a loser. I don't know maths. I just, like, that part of my brain doesn't work. I started believing those things. When I worked on myself, it was just a small incident from my childhood where somebody said something horrible to me, and it stuck to my subconscious mind. So the whole point of this presentation is, I know there are people, because I was one of them, who had these experiences, or people saying rude things, or, not so nice things. So they can create mental blocks, they can create performance blocks and stuff like that. So the whole point of this presentation is just to stop and think and reflect. Are we one of those people? Do we need to work on our subconscious mind? And sometimes maybe you don't. It's perfectly fine. You are very lucky if you don't need to work on your subconscious mind. But, drawing from my own experience, my life has come from here to here just because I worked on my subconscious mind, my personal life and my professional life. And I'm very proud to say, actually, that I have achieved most of my goals just because I worked on my subconscious mind. So yeah, that is a good point to start.
Okay, thank you, Muneeba. I think that was the last question. You can stop your sharing. Okay. And thank you for this wonderful presentation, and thank you to all the participants. Now I would like my colleague Sarim Atik to take a group picture. So I would request everybody to on your video. And my colleague Aisha has shared a feedback link with you for this webinar. So kindly fill that up for us to learn more from what was the feedback from you all. So I would request everybody to on their video, please. Thank you. Sarim, it's on you now. You have to tell us.
Thumbs up will be the better if we do all.
Okay. Now I'd like to ask our CEO Jamil Janjua to add some thank you notes for this webinar. JJ, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Zainab. I just restrict myself to the thanking part because I think we have gone around to 1 hour, and I'm sure people would like to sort of go back to their normal routines. I would like to thank you, Muneeba, for the seamless presentation that you made with such confidence, and the fact that you shared your personal experiences in terms of explaining or in trying to elucidate your points that were very valid. And I think all of us who were there, the 50 plus people that I noticed, I think we owe you a lot of money, because for the same amount of time that we would have to go to a psychoanalyst or a psychiatrist, we got it for free. So thanks a lot for pointing out all our drawbacks. You see, my question, actually, there's one question that I have. If you can possibly quickly give me an answer on that. Absolutely. Is what is your understanding of mindset? How do you define mindset? Because we talk a lot about mindset.
Yeah.
What is a mindset?
So basically, if I have to say one thing about mindset is, if you have growth mindset, now again, I'm using the word mindset, but my understanding is that if you are willing to learn, again, I would repeat, no matter where you are, doesn't matter. If you are willing to learn new things, if you are willing to criticize yourself, if you are willing to know your shortcomings as a human being or as a professional, I think you have the right mindset. That is the definition of mindset. Nobody is perfect here. I think the mastermind's mind also struggles. So those people are also struggling, but why are they different than us? Because they are willing to learn. They are willing to make changes. They are willing to accept that they might be wrong or they might need to improve themselves. So that is the mindset I think all of us need to have.
So, I from that, it makes sense to me by way of thinking of the mind as a machine that, focuses its direction or puts a lot of energy in the direction of what you want to be, which is where your subconscious comes into play, see? Absolutely. So if you put a lot of energy in your mind towards a particular goal, that is what a mindset is, and that is how a mindset, translates into a growth mindset or what they might call perhaps a less growth, kind of a mindset that is not a
closed and open mindset sort of thing. That sometimes we believe that whatever we believe is the it thing. Whatever we are doing is the it thing. So you should always, like all of us should always keep in mind that we have room for improvement. Whether it is our opinions, whether it is our learning, anything, we have room for change and improvement. Even when we start believing that, I think we have the right mindset.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much for clarifying that. And once again, thank you for your time. You're in Melbourne, and there's been an earthquake in Melbourne, and you have been patient enough to sort of move away from whatever is happening around you. I hope everything works out fine for you and for the people in Melbourne. And we hope to see you soon, maybe do another webinar, or maybe if you're coming to Pakistan, or if you would like to do an online program and there's interest from our participants, we could look at doing this together.
Absolutely.
Once again,
would love to. And I would love to learn. You have so much experience and you have so much, you have a presence and you have an, inspiring personality. So I would love to learn from you too.
I would caution you to, look at people who are, I would say, senior citizens, 60 plus, for advice, or because we are responsible for the situation with this globally. We are responsible for with the trouble that we are at. See, so don't take any advice from us people. You better take advice from people of your generation.
But you
who
have
are doing very well.
But you have experience that we don't have. So
well, the experience has not been very helpful to us.
global warming and all the wars that we're having and all the issues that we're having. But that's just a word of caution. Take it with a pinch of salt. So once again, thank you, and more than you, at the same time, I'd like to thank all the participants, the 50 plus participants who've been quite who stuck with the full presentation, and they have come from different organizations. I'd like to thank those organizations and those participants from those organizations. I think we have Hinu Park with us, we had Jaffer Group with us, we had Jubilee Corporation, we had Ufone, we had Master Group, we had Dalda Foods, we had TCS, we had ABB, and we had Premier Sales. So thank you very much, all participants, for staying with us, for encouraging us, for motivating us. I mean, motivating in the real sense.
Yeah.
And for supporting us. And thanks also to the team at Octara, my colleagues, Zainab, Sarim, and Aisha, who've been very much instrumental in bringing about and delivering this program with your help and your support, Muneeba. Thank you. Once again, thank you very much, Muneeba. And God bless everyone. Thank you, Adil. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, JJ, for your kind words. Now, just allow me to share some of the offerings and upcoming programs of Octara. Okay, during pandemic, our CEO Jamil Janjua, he came up with an idea of sharing the learning resources, free learning resources to our clients and the HR fraternity. So we launched a product by the name of TCS Octara Webmall Plus on the WhatsApp group, which is a Netflix of free COVID learning resources. Over here, on daily basis, we share webinars, free webinars, virtual trainings, discussion on the future trends, e-newsletter and blogs, and also these details are being shared daily with the members of this group on email also, so that they can have a direct access to that. And in that same, we have created another group by the name of Made in Pakistan Web Mall, a Phoenix Rising, which on this all the members and all, they can just share the news of the positive achievements in Pakistan and by the Pakistanis. So if you want to become a member of these two groups, you can register on the link given below, and my colleague Aisha will be sharing the same in the chat group with you all. Okay. Apart from trainings and workshops and webinars and online trainings, Octara has been publishing an e-newsletter, and it's a fortnightly issue. So this is a swatch of the recent mid-September issue 48. So in this in the e-newsletter, we usually have a main story which we interview some of the inspiring people of Pakistan. So in this one, we have interviewed Jahanara. And then we have some of the blogs and some of the learning materials, some of the blogs, some of the learning materials by associates, and then we have a lifelong learning tips, which are the contributions shared by the TCS Octara people. And we also market our programs which are in the line. We had it was on mid-September. The issue was released on 15th, so we had details of our program by Rahila Narejo, Hire the Best. Then then we have details of today's webinar, the Masterminds Mind. And also we are having an online training on Monday on servant leadership by Junaid Akhtar. And other than that, we have some physical workshops and online training in October. And we have on KPI Essentials by Farhan on 7th of October. And then we have Power BI and Excel advanced courses on workshops by Irfan Bakale on October 12th and 13th. Then we have a complimentary webinar on dressing etiquette for professional success by Hamid Saeed. And also we have an online training on continuous improvement process and sustainability in manufacturing practices by Khalid Latif. So if you would like to register in any of the workshops, you can contact my colleague Sarim Atik. His details are over here, and even he has shared all the links, Zoom links with you all for this webinar. So you can contact him if you are interested to participate in any of the workshops of October and September. Now I just want to thank all my participants, Muneeba, and my team Octara for the success for this webinar. Thank you and have a good day, everyone. Allah Hafiz.